Around 400 participants are there in the auditorium. Good morning, everyone. The real question is not whether technology can advance humanity, but whether humanity can guide technology with wisdom, ethics, and responsibility. It's my great honor to welcome you to day 2 of IC-AIETS 2026, the International Conference on Next Generative AI and Emerging Technologies for Sustainable Development. It is my distinct honor to introduce Dr. Latha Christie, our first speaker for today, who will address us on the theme Responsible AI, Ethical Foundations of the Future. Dr. Latha Christie is a retired senior scientist of the Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, Government of India, with over 37 and a half years of distinguished service, and is widely respected for her scientific leadership and mentorship of engineers and researchers. Beyond her scientific career, Dr. Christie is internationally recognized as an interdisciplinary scholar working at the intersection of technology, ethics, and theology. She holds BE honors, MS, and PhD degrees in aerospace engineering from the Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, and has pursued advanced studies in theology, ethics, and leadership. Her doctoral research in theology focuses on the ethical and theological implications of artificial intelligence and intelligent machines. She founded Christie Global Consulting, where she advises institutions and leaders on ethical AI, responsible innovation, and human-centered leadership.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rajla, for the introduction. And I wanted to thank the leaders of St. Joseph's College, Tiruchirappalli, and for Globethics for inviting me for this conference on next generation AI. It's a very important topic, and I'm so excited that you're taking up such topics. Yeah, my topic is on responsible AI, ethical foundations for the future. You're all students, teachers, and leaders here, and this is a very important topic, a topic of concern. So I'm excited to speak on this topic. And now I would like to ask you a question. If I would have asked, like, how many of you have used AI as a tool in the last few months? Many of you would have said yes, right? That tells us something important, that AI is no longer a future technology. It is a present technology. And it's just now, right now, quietly shaping the decisions, quietly shaping the world. And it is sitting at the most important place. And I'm so happy that many of you are taking it so seriously and have given importance to it. And today I wanted to speak on the ethical aspects of AI. So now coming to this one, big question is not whether AI is powerful and it can affect us. All of us know AI is powerful. But can we trust AI when it touches human lives and human opportunity? So that is my question today. Let me take you to a different world of automated decisions. And I start with the question, when a machine affects the human life, who is responsible? Most people assume this question is philosophical or sci-fi. But in reality, it is operational. It's a systems question. It's a question where every high-stake institution has to eventually face. Trust has to be earned, right? For example, when we trust and we are going in the air flights, we trust the flight. We trust the person who is driving the flight. So that is trust. But when we say something failed, it is not. It is what has failed. How our trustworthiness has failed. That's what today we have to discuss. Because we trust aircraft, we trust bridges, and we climb on it. We trust medical devices because they are engineered to be safe. They are tested under stress. They are designed with controls. They are monitored. They are governed with clear accountability. There is an accountable person, right? So now, responsible AI is not about fixing it. It's about designing and governing the entire system. That's what today I'm going to speak to you about. So, how do we trust a machine when it affects a human life? So, let me begin with a simple story. A few years ago, for example, AI was trying to prioritize patients for medical care because it's not who, for example, so many patients are there in the emergency, who has to be taken first. And then AI software was used at that time. But later they found out the system consistently gave lower priority to certain communities. Not because anyone programmed it to discriminate, but it learned from the previous data. It learned from the bias. The algorithm was intelligent. The system was efficient, but it was not ethical. That is the next. Let me tell you another story. For example, just imagine a national mentoring initiative the government is passing. The goal is good to support promising UPSC candidates who do not have any access. So the government wants to give mentoring, answer writing support, mock interviews, maybe even a scholarship for coaching. So the response is huge. Tens of thousands of students are applying. Now the organizers are facing a practical problem. Who will sit and work out how to do it? So they pick an AI tool. So they said to the AI tool, pick candidates who are mostly likely to benefit and succeed. So now it's trained from the past data. Who cleared prelims, mains, interviews, and essay and answer writing samples, and all those things, and sometimes even writing style. At first, everybody is happy. The process becomes faster. The shortlist comes out in minutes. But then slowly some pattern is showing up. A large scale of shortlisted candidates are coming from a familiar set of places or pathways or from some colleges or from some places. So major cities where they have access to peer groups. So meanwhile, equally sincere students, they are not able to get, maybe because their writing may have good ideas, but not expected format. So no one is sitting in a room and telling, exclude rural student. Let's favor only certain colleges. But what happened was subtle. The AI learned patterns from the past, and the past was not equal. So in India, success in a highly competitive exam is shaped by many factors: access to good schooling, access to mentors, access to coaching techniques, repeated feedback. So now this feedback emerges. This is AI concludes what it is doing is right, and it is going on doing. This is not a technical issue. It's a social ethical issue. That is why I wanted to say today that what is the problem? What is the ethical problem? Responsible AI is not just a philosophy discussion, it's an engineering requirement. Because the problem here is not one bad model. The problem is the whole decision chain. What data was used? What features were selected? Which proxies were allowed? What threshold and cutoffs were set? And how the shortlist was operationalized and how the system learned. So today I will show you where trust is won or lost, like data, drift, robustness, and I'll offer a simple human-centric compass to guide better design choices. So that is what I wanted to show you today is about, because this is very, very important. But let me give you some few more stories. A resume that was never seen. For example, this is the story heading for me. The system was trying to take people for job applications. So the system is trained on past hiring data. In Amazon in the US, they found that one of the hiring software did not give reduced chances to women. In some of the places, they found that some of the resumes were never even seen because certain colleges that had strong placement cultures, writing styles, teaching thing, they took the lead. So because no human ever sees a resume, no interview happens, no explanation is given, no appeal is possible, because it's automated decision. It just made sure the human never said yes. Similarly, some students submit assignment. They are so perfect. The university it's a clear structure, confident arguments. The evaluator is impressed. But during the discussion, the student struggles. The student who has put it there cannot even explain the key arguments. Nothing illegal happened. The student used ChatGPT to write. So unless a human intervenes to find out what the student has put it in the assignment is right by interrogating the student, you will only pass or give marks to the students who was writing so beautifully using ChatGPT or some other AI tool. Similarly, loan, for example, I wanted to get a loan. And the bank may use some loan eligibility model and it can develop an AI. Again, it can create risk. So how do we solve this? This is what I'm speaking about. What is the problem? If you see my slide, the problem is the system was efficient, but it was not ethical. So a serious question right now is in front of us. For example, if an algorithm becomes the gatekeeper of opportunities and it quietly prefers people who already had better access, what happens to fairness? So responsible AI is an engineering requirement. It's not fixing the model. It is designing and governing the entire system from data to feedback loops so that trust is earned through evidence and control, not operations. So where AI quietly goes wrong? Let's see how AI goes wrong. So AI is not artificial intelligence system, is not one black box. When a machine affects human life, responsibility matters. But it's not one black box. People think AI is one black box, but it is not one black box. Most failures happen at the interfaces, not inside the model. So what do I mean by that? For example, let me take you through a framing. What problem did we define? What are we optimizing? Then data. What is missing? Who is missing? What is noisy? What is biased? Model, did it learn the true signals or shortcuts? Then coming to metrics, did we measure the right thing, harm, not just accuracy? Deployment, does a human workflow prevent misuse? Do we detect drift before harm spreads? So this is what I wanted to say. Data, representation, model, decision rule, human workflow, monitoring, and then feedback loop. Each layer can introduce bias, error, or harm, even if the whole model is good. So harm can enter between steps because it's a life cycle, not a one-time build. Ethics enter at every stage of this pipeline. Problem definition, data and labels, model training, evaluation, deployment, monitoring and updates. So if ethics enters only at the end, and it is too late because harm often begins at the start. So ethics should not come at the end. That's what I wanted to mean. When you start building a model, ethical aspects have to be built in problem framing and data. So what I wanted to say is, this is what I wanted to say. A responsible AI is life cycle engineering. It must enter at every stage. Data, training, evaluation, deployment, monitoring, incident response. So that is what today I'm going to speak about. So because the first technical question is, what are we optimizing? Is it accuracy? Is it speed? Is it cost reduction? Is it risk? So, for example, an university wants to reduce the dropout risk. They build a model and reward patterns that correlate with past success. But students who are first generations are working part-time may show irregular patterns, right? So the problem is not in the model's math, is the goal and the definition of what is success. So that is why we need to be very careful. What are we optimizing? Is it accuracy, speed, cost reduction? So this is what I wanted to say. Reducing dropout risk can unintentionally punish students who need the support most. So data is not neutral. Why data is not neutral? Because there are four big technical pathways. Sampling bias. Who is missing? Rural, minority languages, or disabled people? Label bias. What assumptions were used? High potential, aggressive, uncooperative, high risk. What is the term that was used? Historical bias. The past becomes training signal. Measurement bias. So these are some of the things we need to take into account. And then, for example, the next one is representation. Representation is very important. You convert raw data into features. That is representation. For example, you use zip code, school or college names, language as proxy, device types. So even if we remove protected attributes, proxies can put them back in. So we need to be careful at every stage. Then next, accuracy is not equivalent to safety. For example, overfitting or false positives, collaboration, so many mistakes can happen at every stage. Overfitting looks great in training but fails outside. Spurious correlation, learns shortcuts, distribution shift, robustness failures. So finally, a model can be accurate in the life, but it can fail in real thing. In the lab, it can be accurate, but in real thing, it cannot fail. Then finally, in the feedback loop, that evaluation is where many teams stop too early because of false positives or false negatives and others. So now coming to the deployment, this is where models meet human life. For example, in warfare or counseling or medical care, where this AI software is deployed. So now coming for example, I'm telling, if it is the score is greater than 0.7, approve it. Top 100 are selected. These are some of the examples. Now, two organizations can use the same model but different threshold and produce totally different fairness outcomes. So now ethics is showing up as a threshold. So that is why human in the loop is very, very important. It should be real. It should not be a decoration. Many organizations say we have a human in the loop. But the question is, does that human have authority? Rubber stamping common failures like human review exists only on paper. No escalation path. If some AI is going wrong, what is the escalation path? Who is the responsible person for that? The most dangerous workflow is when humans feel they are not allowed to question AI. So this is what I wanted to show, that AI is when we are using feedback and when we are using optimizations, the feedback loop is very, very important. When AI decisions shape the data, the system can create a self-fulfilling thing. So now, so finally, what I wanted to say is responsible AI system is governance plus engineering. The algorithms can be intelligent, can be efficient, but it has to be ethical. So now coming to why AI is going to become a big thing, because it is going to speed up everything. We are going to get into artificial super intelligence, artificial general intelligence. Right now, whatever we have is what it is, you tell me? It is artificial narrow intelligence, right? If I take this artificial narrow intelligence, that means my AI software will work only for this education. My AI software will only predict X-ray and the diseases with respect to it. So they are all very good. But when it goes to making decisions, it goes to taking everything in its hand and acting like a human, that's where real issue comes into account. So now we know what is Gen AI, what is LLMs, what is agentic AI, near-AGI, and then ASI. So all these are all so important. So it is AGI influence is growing, capability is growing. So when the capability grows, our moral responsibility also should grow. So that is why capability changes responsibility. It's a wrong answer. It's end up with wrong actions. So now why countries use AI in defense? And many of the countries use AI in defense. So if AI tells wrong information and some thing goes wrong, who is responsible? So for example, now why it is becoming so important is in artificial narrow intelligence, task specific vision, like a translation, like finding out fraud, finding out. So these are all quite okay. But when it becomes Gen AI, generative, it can take action. And then in language models, big language models, when it comes, it can speak on your behalf, it can generate empathy. For example, you have an AI very close to an elder person, and you say that this AI will take care of you. So I am now leaving my parents under the care of an AI. I need not take care because it's very difficult sometimes to take care of old people, they say. So they might think that, okay, I am deploying an AI software for that. So that AI software will take care of my parent. So I need not go there. If we think like that, then what will happen? The AI can generate emotions, but it is real emotion. If the person is speaking sad, the AI can show the sad face. If the old elder wants to do something, the AI will help. But can it replace a human person? So that's what when it becomes agentic, when it becomes Gen AI, and then it's near AI, AGI is possible, artificial general intelligence. But there is one more hypothetical artificial super intelligence where in 2080, people are thinking it's going to come where it's going to override human intelligence, human consciousness. I don't feel so. Humans will remain humans. Nobody can take our consciousness. Nobody can take the place. We are made unique, and not we can never become an assert. But when we give power to an artificial intelligent machine which is growing towards AGI, and then it's growing towards a super intelligent machine using quantum computing and others, what sort of governance are we bringing in? For example, let me take a warfare situation. You have satellite imagery, you have radar. So now there are two countries, India, China, Pakistan, for example, you assume. Now I'm getting all the sensor data and giving to an AI commander. There's commander in the place of a commander, the AI is sitting. So the AI gets all the data, infrared, thermal detection, communication intercepts, drone data. It classifies the threat, it develops a confidence, and then it prioritizes rankings, and then it says urgent, now the war should start. There is no human person, the war can start, right? Humans cannot process them all fast, but AI can process everything faster and prioritize. In seconds it can give a dangerous signal. For example, control room with tired people, a human commander will become tired by reading all the things, but AI will never become tired. It's a real threat. So now, urgent, act now. So a human cannot override an AI to find out, should I act now? Should I not act now? By chance, some information is wrong. It can start a big war. So the moment you bring speed into the picture, there is a very human thing happens. Pressure and compression of time, fear, you have just minutes to respond. So that is why it's quite important, because in the Cold War time, the same thing happened. I will explain you in detail. But first, let's go to agentic AI. When answers becomes actions. Tool using systems, agentic AI or tool that uses systems that act. So artificial narrow intelligence, as I told, it's task specific. It's, for example, university admin agent will be using, a firing pipeline person will be using, hospital person will be using, but Gen AI, like it can develop, it can give actions. That action, it can hallucinate and give wrong action. We know that a person, a young boy was telling the story to its AI, and it has asked that boy to go and do suicide. So risk rises when AI moves from text generation to tool-driven action. So that is when it becomes agentic AI or Gen AI. There can be failure models. There can be lot of influences. New failure models can come into picture. Action injection, compounding errors, silent autonomy. So with agents, the biggest risk is not wrong answers, it is wrong actions. If it gives wrong answers, we can try to correct it, right? But when it can take action, for example, I'm using an AI to do a surgery and it takes a wrong action. Who is at risk now? A human is at risk. So agentic AI and near AI, when it happens, we need to be very careful what are the jobs we are assigning to an AI, what are the jobs we are not assigning to an AI. So AGI and ASI is going to come. They are telling AGI is a place where human, that is called singularity, when human intelligence becomes equivalent to machine intelligence. And artificial superintelligence, when superintelligence, machines become more powerful than humans and it can overtake humans. So at that stage, when machine intelligence is going on rising in high stake domains like health, like giving finances, livelihoods, society, healthcare, warfare, who is at risk? So this is what warfare, I told you some story. It's not evil missions, it's speed. Speed outruns moral power. So now if I am a human, if I have a human in the loop, I will not decide that fast. I will have some morality coming into picture. But an AI will not have that moral pass. It will have speed and deliberation. It can act. It can start firing. So how AI can enter defense decisions? For example, as I said, that sensors, fusions, threat sensors, priority, everything, it gets the data and it can outrun human decisions. It really happened in one of the Cold War recently between, and there was that AI system got all the data, and then there was a duty officer called Stanislav Petrov. And this particular time, what happened is it was in the Soviet Union, now we call it as Russia, an early warning system. It predicted there is some incoming missile from the United States. So now picture it, it is a very quiet night. A duty officer is on watch. Suddenly the system is telling, attack detected. Alarms, red signal, the system is screaming urgency. There is some early warning system is screaming that incoming missiles are coming. The terrible part is that the system looked very certain, but it is not right. There was no missiles. It was a false alarm. How the alarm caused? It was caused by sunlight reflecting off the clouds. So they confused it with sensors, confused that. When sunlight reflected off the clouds, the sensors confused that. They thought it's some missiles are coming. But here you listen, this is the most important part, the human story. There was a duty officer, his name was Stanislav Petrov. He did not blindly follow the machine signal. He waited. And that pause was not lazy hesitation. It was moral courage under pressure. He reasoned out, if this were a real attack, it would be likely larger. Something doesn't fit here. Let me not escalate it without verification. So he reported finally as a false alarm. This is a true story. So because there was a human in the loop and that human was able to check it up, he could do that. So faster escalation. So in an AI age, probability gets treated like certainty. Have you seen use ChatGPT? When you start analyzing people, it can give certain decisions. This person is like this. Whereas it is not a certainty. You just give some decisions to think about it, right? So probability can look like certainty. So an error can become a conflict. So the sunlight was thought as missiles. So escalation happens before verification catches up. So high risk, escalate. So sensor is sending alert. So now we have to start action. If we don't take action, it's gone. So this sort of things, a human alone can think, whether it's a real thing or not. So what happens when machines accelerate decision? Mistake happens. First, explanation will happen later on. First mistake will happen. Small error triggers a chain reaction. So humans stop feeling fully responsible. Okay, machine is taking care. Why should I feel responsible? They can sleep. So war can be easier to start. Innocent people will pay the price. So that is why we need to have a governance at every stage of AI. The end result, if I want to say, conflict can begin by mistake, not intention. No country wanted war. No mission wanted war, but speed killed the chance to choose wisely. Because AI has the speed. So now what we want to do, I want to give this acronym RACI. So this one, I have done my PhD just now. My defense viva is over and I've submitted. In 2 months. I will be getting my PhD in artificial general intelligence and the governance. So I have developed a model called integrated imago Dei model. It is based on 4 factors. What sort of governance we have to give. So now I wanted to, this thing most of you might be knowing, RACI. So who does what? Who is responsible? R is who does the work? Who is responsible? AI. A stands for accountable. Who owns the outcome? If something goes wrong, can you blame AI? Nobody can blame AI. So somebody has to be made accountable there. Consulted. Somebody must be asked. And then something goes wrong, somebody must be informed. So who is responsible? Who is the person who does the work? And who owns the outcome? Who has to be consulted? And who has to be informed? When something goes wrong in an AI environment, who is answerable? So everyone assumes somebody owns it. But who is the real owner? Problems bounce between teams. So they say that I didn't do it. This team developed it. This team developed it. So you need to make somebody accountable. So who are the consultants for it? Who are the people who have to be kept informed? All these things have to be brought in before developing a model. Because if everyone is responsible, no one is responsible, right? So that is why I wanted to say clear roles and decision rights have to be given. So, for example, who is the builder? Who is the owner? Who is taking care of the risk? Who is the domain expert? Who is taking care of security and privacy? Who is the overall leader? So that becomes more important in this case. So finally, builder versus model owner. Builder is a responsible person who builds, trains, tests, documents. An owner, an accountable person who owns the impact, who approves the updates. So this is quite important. Who is the owner? Who is the person who is accountable for it? And then comes the consultant. Some people who are working on risk, some people who are domain expert, some people who are security and privacy expert. All those have to be consulted. So ethics teams prevent blind spots. So that is why it is quite important. Now, we have found out about the high stakes domain, right? So now the human must remain at the center, I said. That is why all these things I am bringing in so that humans will remain at the center. This decisions finally approved gates, human override authority. Humans should be able to override, appeal the pathway. So independent audit. Responsible AI is built twice, once in the model and once in the institution around us. So high stakes AI should never go from lab to life in one step. Humans in the loop must be real authority. It is not a decoration. So I have brought in four parameters in my this one in my PhD. These are the four parameters: dignity, agency, relationality, and flourishing. What is dignity? No human being should be reduced to a data point. Agency. AI may assist decisions, but humans must remain morally accountable. What is relational responsibility? Technology must strengthen trust, not erode it. What is flourishing? Success is not efficiency alone, it is human well being. So the danger is not that machines becomes like humans. The danger is that humans start behaving like machines. So finally, what kind of future are we building? So now, students and researchers, the code you write today, the models you train today, the systems you deploy should encourage responsibility, not fear. That's what I wanted to say. That future of AI is not decided by machines. It is decided by the values of the people who designed them. Every major technology in history forced humanity to ask deeper moral questions. AI is also doing the same. This is not a threat, it is an invitation for us. Invitation to build a responsible AI. Let's build AI that is not only intelligent but wise, powerful, responsible, not only advanced but deeply human. So now I just wanted to ask you some questions. Where do you think human responsibility should never be delegated to AI? And do we teach ethics alongside technical skills? What gives you hope or what worries you about AI? So because AI is moving faster from being a tool, it's becoming a decision partner. We must make sure that progress and intelligence is matched by progress in responsibility. So that's why if I want to make it more practical, when something goes wrong in a normal system, we know where to look. For example, a bridge collapses. We check the design, we check the materials, we check the inspection, accountability. An aircraft incident happens. We investigate procedures, safety, checks, and human responsibility. So now people ask, was it the data? Was it the model? Was it the developer? Was it the hospital or institution? Was it the user who trusted it, or was it the machine? That is the core challenge. AI introduces a new kind of power, an invisible power. It operates quietly inside dashboards, rankings, recommendations, approvals, rejections, and it can shape human lives without anyone feeling they made a decision. So, one message I want to say is responsible AI is not only a technical goal, it's a moral commitment. So it's very, very important when you are developing a system, whether is there a moral commitment to it? And the practical 6 questions every responsible team designing should ask. Purpose. What human good is this model serving? Harm. Who could be harmed, especially the vulnerable? The third, bias. What biases might be hidden in the data and in the design? Four, transparency. Can people understand why a decision was made? Accountability. Who is responsible? And what is the escalation path when something goes wrong? 6, human oversight. Where must humans remain firmly in the loop and why? Responsible AI is not anti-innovation. It is innovation with moral clarity. So again, every major technology is forcing us to ask the deeper question. Let's build AI that is not only intelligent but wise, that is not only fast but accountable, not only efficient but humane, not only advanced but responsible. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the brilliant presentation this morning with regard to ethical foundation, uh, with regard to artificial intelligence in our day-to-day life. And you have really covered quite a lot of areas where AI is used, and I was actually enjoying. And I request the audience, if one or two people can come closer to the system, and then what you learned from her presentation, and then if you have any questions, you can actually ask her. Can I ask the audience, or could you please circulate the mic so that she can hear and then answer to your questions? It is open for the floor is open for questions now. Introduce yourself and what do you study and what did you feel about her presentation, and then put your question.
Good morning, ma'am. I am Shama Anjan.
Yeah, good morning.
What are the factors should I consider for an effective LLM for Gen AI application, ma'am?
So when you build a Gen AI application, you're not just writing a code, right? You're creating a system that interacts with people, that interacts with decisions and data at scale. So there are several key factors you should keep in mind. First is clear purpose and goal. Like, what problem are you doing it? Are you solving? What outcomes do you want? So misaligned goals sometimes lead to wasted effort. And then next is data quality. So whether the data quality, do you have high quality, diverse, and debiased training data? Protect personal and sensitive data. If you handle proprietary or confidential information, how do you protect it? Be careful with what you input into public models. Some public Gen AI tools don't guarantee privacy or security. So poor data practices can lead to privacy breaches. And similarly, Gen AI can unintentionally reinforce biases present in its data. So you must evaluate outputs for fairness, mitigate harmful patterns, build an evaluation that look at how different groups are affected. Finally, also transparency and explainability. Like when output is AI generated, what indicators the AI has, how decisions are made. It has to be transparent. It should be able to explain it when somebody comes and questions you. So, fine. And then, as I told, human oversight and accountability. If something goes wrong, so what is the human supervision you have? Must control the final decisions if it is a high stake thing. There must be clear accountability for the outcomes. So there should be guardrails, define clear prompt controls, like guardrails which are hallucinations and other things should be avoided, because these AI tools have hallucinations, right? So you need to be very sure whether it's not hallucinating. And the policy compliance, testing, monitoring, all those things have to be taken into picture.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Nice question.
There are more questions.
Good morning, ma'am. I am Vidyashi. My question is, while integrating LLMs and generative AI in your application, how we should tackle hallucination?
So AI, you need to train with a lot of good data. Then only you can, because what do you mean by hallucination? Can you explain?
Even though we use effective prompting techniques to our LLM, still it's couldn't give the desired response, ma'am. So how we should handle that?
Hallucination is something else, right? What is hallucination? Explain that.
We gave prompt to our LLMs, but still it couldn't give the desired response we asked them.
See, hallucinations, why it happens, I'll tell you. When the model produces information that sounds like confident and fluent, but it is not right, but it is false, invented, or unsupported, that is hallucination. because the hallucination is, it looks very confident, it gives the data, but it is not truthful. So LLMs are trained to predict next word, right? Not to know the truth. So if the prompt invites an answer and the model doesn't have reliable grounding, like made up facts, names, data, citation, wrong reasoning, a chain that sounds logical but incorrect, fabricated references, hallucinations can be dangerous. So your model has to take care of that. That's what you are asking, how to avoid it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you developing a model?
No, ma'am. I'm integrating existing model.
Actually, what I know about it, you cannot completely eliminate hallucinations. You can only reduce, maybe detect and control them. You have to detect and control them. So ground the model in trusted data. So use like a retrieved, augmented generations, fetch answers from verified documents, databases, force the model to only rely on retrieved content. So reduce invented facts, makes answers traceable. So something like that. Hallucination grow when prompts are open-ended. When your prompt should not be open-ended, it has to be closed. So answer, for example, you can add rules like answer only from provided sources. If information is missing, say, I don't know, like something like that, limit, you tell if you don't have information, don't generate yourself information. You have to write that. You have to tell me, I don't know. Don't generate yourself data. Something, otherwise it generates data itself. So for sometimes it forces uncertainty instead of fake confidence. So you have to write there, if you are unsure, respond insufficient information. When you are doing that, please give information like this. If to the AI, if you are unsure, please respond insufficient information. Don't give confidence threshold as though you know. Something like this you can write. And finally, add a verification step 2, like verify facts, validate citations, databases, and all those things.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. Myself,
Good morning.
so as I was listening to your session, ma'am, there is as you are explaining the use of AI in resume screening, ma'am. So it can cause as it uses historical data, it can cause bias, ma'am. How can we handle that, ma'am? Because the use of resume screening is increasing in various in today's world, ma'am. As it uses historical data, it can give a biased decisions right now, ma'am. So how can we reduce those, ma'am?
So you mean like when we are doing, how can we reduce the bias involved in that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you need, that's what I was telling. So you're using AI for machine scanning and the model is trained on historical data or something like that. So past inequalities, are there anything like you, when you're training, you should study the data. Should not be fed like just as data. You have to study like, reflect, is there any past wrong practices? Were there any past errors, past inequalities? Then is the AI producing biased decision based on that? So how do I reduce bias and hallucination when my AI learns from historical data? So that's a very good question. But historical data can carry bias. AI will amplify it. That's all. So what data you're feeding, what is it, how you are training it, it's very important. So you have to check it up, is any group underrepresented? Are there any missing resumes or missing things? Any labels are subjective? Is there anything inconsistent? Does the data reflect some old policies or outdated things? So remove incorrect or noisy records when what you're feeding it, and then data like machine types, operating conditions, all those things. No, like you have to be very careful what you're feeding in. And do not allow the models to decide alone. Also, maybe you have to keep a human review after it decides.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for those wonderful questions you asked. And I like to interacting with you all. Looking forward to meeting you all personally again.
Madam, swimmers are all. It was a lucid presentation on technically, enlightening our delegates on technical aspects of AI as well as responsible usage of AI. And our students, as they are beginning upskilling themselves with AI development, it will certainly help them in their future. They are going to enter into IT industry. They'll become responsible AI developers. For coming on. Thank you for valuing us so much. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a very interesting topic, and I'm happy that four organizations have joined together and doing this conference, and I'm excited for that. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of the conference organizers, the partnering institutions, and all the participants of this international conference, it's my privilege to express our sincere thanks to you, ma'am, Dr. Latha Christie, for your deeply insightful and thought-provoking address on responsible AI, ethical foundations of the future. Your presentation powerfully reminded us that artificial intelligence is not merely a technological advancement, but a moral project, one that directly shapes human dignity, trust, and the future of our societies. Drawing from your rich experience in national level scientific research and your interdisciplinary engagement with ethics and human values, you have offered us a rare and balanced perspective where technical excellence is guided by conscience and responsibility. Your reflections challenged us to think beyond efficiency and innovation alone and to ask deeper questions about fairness, accountability, inclusions, and human-centered design in AI systems. The clarity and conviction with which you linked cutting-edge technology to ethical foundations have given us a strong intellectual compass for the sessions that follow. We are truly grateful to you, ma'am, Dr. Latha Christie, for sharing your time, your wisdom, and your vision with us, and for setting a meaningful and principled tone for day 2 of this international conference. Thank you once again, ma'am, and thank you for accepting the invitation. It's late night in US, but you've taken the pain to share your precious knowledge with us. I'll stay in touch with you, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, ma'am.